Hey guys, it's Ducon Red 1 and welcome to episode 17 of Let's Build Chateau de Lumière. As you can see, today's episode is involving the Hamlet down below the chateau itself. And I must say, after, 38 hours of building, it turned out pretty fabulous. Now, let me just make you guys aware that everything that you are seeing built in this episode has been built on live streams over on Twitch. Those live streams are uploaded over here on YouTube, so if you guys want to see a more in-depth building approach to how certain things were done, you can go ahead and check out those live streams in the description below. I have all the links and descriptions to what each live stream involves, and you can check out those in the description below and go from there. So with that said, let's get right into building. So here we're going to be starting with the inn down below Lumiere. It is pretty important to have a place for people to stay. Obviously, all guests there wouldn't be room enough for everybody up in the castle, of course, and some people wouldn't even have the necessary rights to be up there. So they would have to settle to sleep in the inn here. And also, this is a great place for the locals and travelers to unwind, talk stories, and this is basically the internet back then. This is where people would come in order to learn information, and among other things, lots of major business activities would occur here, etc., etc., etc. So as you can see, the style and architecture really developed over these past few scenes. It took quite a while to decide on that architecture and how we were going to do it, but eventually, I think it turned out fairly nice. So here is the butchers. The butcher is the guy that provides the meat for everybody that lives here. The people that surround the other farmers outside of the village would bring their animals here and sell them to the butcher, who would then butcher the meat and then sell the processed meat to the people that would want that meat. So we make a little pen in the back for the animals to sort of live in until they are ready to be butchered. To the right there, or to the left, we have the shed where they would live, and then the smokehouse is that little square building to the right. So again, a big part about this build is I really want it to be very colorful. I want those colors just to explode in your face, and so we'll be adding flowers and trees and all sorts of greenery and things around. So here is the bakery. This is where all those eats and treats, cakes and not ice creams, cakes and breads and things of that sort. That's what that building is for. That's a very necessary part of any medieval build, I would say. Down here is the blacksmith. Again, another very necessary part of a medieval build. Blacksmiths would provide basically all the metal workings needs of any society back then. Because as culture advanced, metal was a very integral part in a lot of things. You know, nails, fastenings, horseshoes, the list goes on. There's really no end to all the things that blacksmiths do. So the town center turned out quite nice. Lots of little tents and things. We've got the well there. This right here is the fortune teller's cart. We'll be seeing that later on. I apologize for that world edit square there. That's something I don't think I can get out of the screen there. This right here, we're making the lake now, and also that's a knight's tent there, sitting there in the below the causeway of Lumiere. We had lots of moss and grasses and reeds and all that sort of things and trees along there. Right here, we wanted to block off the view so that when you look down that road, that you don't see straight off the plot. And so we built that tree there, and I think that turned out quite nice. Coming around the back, we build a facade to his stables and the porch back here on the back side of the inn. Now here we're making a little food stand, and then around back we're going to be making a message board, because that's a pretty important thing. It's like the newspaper of a land, I guess. People would basically go to the message boards to spread the news and hear the news of surrounding areas. So now into the interiors. This in itself took a long time to do, but the inn, quote unquote, in interior, no puns intended, but the interior turned out fairly nice. We have the bar and the main sitting area behind us. Here's the kitchen where all those eats and treats would be made for all of the guests that would be staying here at the end or just here for dinner, etc. Down below, of course, we have the cellars where all of that, all the drinks and foods and things would be stored. Now up here on the middle floor, this is where all the extended seating would be, and also we have places for the richer folk that would like to, stay here, a little more individual rooms. So going into this side, this is the white room. This is an individual room where they could stay. Obviously, it would be a fairly costly endeavor to actually stay in one of these rooms because, so they're individual rooms, and it maximizes efficiency to bring up the cost of rooms like that, especially for the current time of Lumiere that's in a wedding. So I'm sure rates are pretty high at this time. So here we have the room for the innkeeper, right next to the stinky garderobe, where everyone would do their pooty-doo thing down there. But, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Here we're doing the interior to the barn where the animals would be kept outside the butcher's. And then going inside the butcher, we gotta make a place, obviously, for the meat to hang. So we have like a little meat closet here. Coming on this side, this is where the meat would be sold. And then, of course, up here, a place for the butcher to live. I think that's a fairly important thing to have, I would say. And then coming in here, we have a place for the bakery. Got the stove there in the back and all the eats and treats kind of just sitting around. A place for the baker to live. And then back down here and a place for, the baker's children to live. Now we're here on the blacksmith. We're going to do the interior in here real quick. Really sketchy replay there, but hey, it works. Shows what needs to be shown. And then going down here, we actually do the inside the well, and we make a cave in here using the calcite blocks and such. I think this turned out absolutely fabulous. We'll be seeing that later on. And then we end off the building for this episode by working on the causeway there and building a little shrine here. And that will end off what we have done for this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's get into a first-person overview. Okay guys, so after 38 hours of building, we are finally finished this Hamlet area here below Lumiere. This right here is my absolute favorite view of this build so far. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Looking up the street, it's so lively. You got the green and the reds. You got the end of the N right there. You got all this, just the color is just exploding in your face. And that's what I really wanted to get across in this build, is just the color. I'm really taking inspiration from The Witcher 3, the Blood and Wine expansion. If you guys have not played it, it's just, oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. But that's actually a main inspiration for this entire build, is that right there, that game. But we're gonna get right into this. I don't want to make this episode too incredibly long because there's a lot to see, and I am sadly probably not gonna be able to show it all, but we're gonna do our best. So starting out, again, like I have touched upon on the other episodes, we're really trying to block the view off the plot. And I'm going to show you certain instances I've done in order to do that. For example, instead of making this road just straight out and having a hole right there, we've made it so that the road goes up and then left. And then that leads off the plot there, because when you're coming down this road, and if you'd have a hole there, it would completely ruin this entire street. Literally, all of this would be ruined, in my opinion. But by doing that and building that tree there, it just completely changes the entire personality and character of this entire area. Just completely redoes it. Another big thing is you notice that this shed roof goes down and you can hardly see out the back. Like, you can see a little bit of the surrounding plots, but we're going to be fixing that later on. But for the most part, you're just trying to block the view out there, and that really makes a difference, just trying to block the view. So right here, we have Stephen Hawk Ironwork Inns. Now, that's just like a Stephen Hawkins, if you guys don't know, he's a smart guy, but Hawk is actually one of my patrons over on Patreon. He's a fairly long-term patron, and I just wanted to say thank you by naming these buildings off of the patrons that I have. Now, I don't want that to be a reason why you would become a patron. That's just for the people that have been a patron to me for a lengthy amount of time, and Stephen Hawk, we'll be seeing others as we go up, but I just want to say thank you so much to Hawk for your support. I really do appreciate it. So right here we have a smelter. This is where the ores, the raw ores that is mined straight out of a cave, they would put the ore into here, and the fire would melt the ore, and it would form a nugget. A nugget's not like an ingot. It's just like this raw, really weird looking, like just clump of metal that would form towards the bottom of the smelter, and then they would pull that out, and then they would heat it up again, and then they could turn it into whatever they needed to be. Now they could do that to copper, they could do that to tin, iron, really anything. It's just you got to be smart about it, and there's all kinds of different things you'd have to know. So anyways, we got some peat and coal around the bottom to indicate where that's the fuel for the fire. Back here we have a bellows to keep it nice and hot. And then on the inside of the blacksmith here, we got all the different new 3D models. We got an anvil on top of a log. We got a barrel that's supposed to be a barrel of water to cool the hot forgings. This is a civilian blacksmith, so it's not supposed to be weapons in here and things. We got the forge right there. We got a sharpening rock right there. It would spin really fast, and then that's how they would sharpen their stones and such, or their swords and such. We got like a little work table in here where the blacksmith would, do all the things needed to make the weapons how they would need to be. Then over here we have the stove, the fireplace for the blacksmith. Now he is living alone, so we got just like a nice little open area in here for him. But anyways, I thought that turned out pretty nice. Got a little back porch for the blacksmith. If I can get out of here. There we go. This is the back porch for the blacksmith. Just like, again, the whole just sort of beautification, the beautiful nature of this build. I just wanted to make it really pristine, just colorful, and very, comfortable. And I'm looking less for defenses and more for just that really beautiful, the beautiful atmosphere. So this is the Cup and Candle Inn. Be our guest. And I'm actually going to figure out, this is actually Dominique Mueller. He's my longest term patron that I have on my, that is supporting me. But I'm going to figure out a way to really incorporate him more into the build. So Dominique Mueller, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for being a patron for so long. That really does mean a lot. So coming in the entrance here, actually before we do that, let's do a little look around on the architecture. This is a gambrel roof that sort of fades into a half hip, which turns into a normal A-frame. Now the thing is it's just like a really interesting, weird combination we did here. Very fantasy. We got a little cupola here on the top. This fireplace actually turned out to be more or less fake. There's only one stove to it. I completely forgot about this fireplace when I was working on the inside, but in any case, I thought that it just still looks pretty good, so we're not going to remove it. So this is the Cup and Candle Inn. You come in, we got the bar over here where the bartender would serve drinks and foods and all kinds of stuff. This in here is where all of the people would sit around the fire. They got some places to hang up their clothes, a little place to wash their hands before they come in, because I imagine they'd probably be pretty dirty, a place to hang their coats and maybe stuff like that. I just thought a nice little coat hanger would be nice. Go ahead and close that door. Got a nice, this is something that I really wanted to do, is a big open area, and this goes all the way up to the top floor, and I really thought something like this would be really cool, especially since there's a cupola over here, so all the like nasty air, hot air from down here would rise and go out the cupola. Now we have like a fireplace over on this side. It has elven influences to it. So again, that this was an elven ruins at one time. So maybe they used like stones from the elven ruins and made this fireplace. This is a little performer stage where music would be played. Thought that'd be a neat little thing. And then an old man sits over here and does his thing. This is where the tavern keeper would live in here. Now it's kind of sucky to live there because right over here is the this is where everyone does the poo. Down these little holes here. And we're gonna go outside really quick and I'm gonna show you this back here and show you where that goes. See, that's where the gong goes right there. This is the garderobe. That's where they all pooty poop. They have a bucket and shovel to carry it away. And yeah, so that is not to be mistaken for the front entrance of the tavern because that would be a nasty surprise, I must say. Now we're gonna go downstairs. Underneath, down here is where the all the storage is. All the we got the barrels of meat and things down here. Got a place for some of the grain to be stored there. Also like a little cage to keep the rats away. We got some herbs and garlic there. Some wine bottles. This is the cheaper wine bottles right there. Got some empty barrels and just some like storage and things around. A little table, a little workbench thing going on there. And then this is the more expensive bottles. And you also got some gold in there and things where the... actually, let me get my light out. So as you can see, this is where the more expensive bottles would be behind that cage right there, as you can see. Down here is some storage. You guys probably can't see very well. There we go. So I'm just changed my shaders up a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better on the interiors. But this is the underneath the main part. This is the cellars. Then I have this little interesting area. I thought this was a really cool idea. A little drain right here, which you can imagine probably goes to the creek down below or something of that sort. And then it comes up behind here, and this is where the stables are. So all the people's horses would go here, and then on top of that is the porch where you can walk up and then walk in the back way to get into the eating area. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. If I must say so myself. Thought that was pretty cool. Then over here we got a little bit of gardens and things going on, a dog house. I'll show you that dog house real quick just so you guys can sort of copy the design if you want to. This is actually a block right here. It's called spruce floor rail. And then you got some like half slab things and then of course the railings there. So if you guys want to copy that, go ahead. Over here we got some gardens. You got a little apple tree there. And then down here, we got a cart. Now, you will notice I'm going through this really fast. If you guys want to see this, eventually this is going to be on the Conquest Reforged server at Warp Lumiere. So keep an eye out for that, and eventually it will be out, and you can check it out for yourself. So we're going to go back inside, and I am going to walk upstairs, and we are going to check out what's up here. So up here is the extended seating area. We got a little place to play chess. We got some more seating areas around here, as you can see. Just lots of places to, overflow seating up here. This is where they would all kind of sit and all that good stuff. Right here is a porch where they can all come out and just kind of, a couple people can come out and just kind of relax over the, this is where all the activity would be and just kind of relax and get away from all that down there. All the hustle and bustle, I guess. And here is a room. This is called the blue room. This should be a fireplace where that bed is because that's where the chimney is, but I forgot. Got some rafters up there. Lots of glitchiness, but unfortunately I can't really avoid that. Over here is I think this is the white room. Yeah, this is the white room with the white bed. Again, this is the elven style chimney and just lots of little details and things in here. So I thought that was a pretty cool room. And then right here is the green room. This is the green bed. And there is a fireplace here, and he has a pet seagull. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to add in. But overall, that works. Just really quickly going through this because we don't want this episode to be absolutely humongously long. Got some overflow bedding in here, so this is where the poor travelers would stay. The more rich and the more wealthier travelers would stay in these personal rooms there. But this is where the just the extra people would go. Now, this is where the jokes begin. Coming in here, this is where a bouncer would stay. This is supposed to be owl poop, and then there's like an owl up here. A couple owls, their nest, and a jar. Oh my goodness. You guys got to watch the streams to fully understand all these little jokes that we're adding in. And then coming over this way, there's like a secret place where the richer knights would come and play poker. They also, the swordfish cult. Special shout out to those of you that are part of the swordfish cult. Yeah, so if you guys don't understand what the swordfish cult is, you're probably better for it. That is just like a little stream joke that we have going. So that's pretty much the interior of the inn. Nothing too fancy. It's just supposed to be enough to keep the, just to give you the idea that there's an inn here. But yeah, that's the cupola where the owls are up. I thought that was really interesting. So yeah. Let's go ahead and head outside now, which is going to lead us out here. And we are going to go to, let's see. Yeah, let's just kind of go around here first. I do have the CUDA shaders on now, because you can see with this a lot better. So this right here is Scorm's Hot Buns. Scorm's Ghost is another one of my Patreons. I appreciate you very much, Scorm's Ghost. You are awesome. But Scorm's is the owner of the bakery. And then right here we have like a little place to sell drinks out front. Again, because the festivities of the wedding are going on currently, so it's just very colorful and lots of things, the hustle bustle going on. Little chess table over here, and then coming in here is the bakery itself. This is where all the yummy treats would be baked, cakes and cupcakes and breads, all that good stuff. We like breads. You come in here, this is where the baker lives. Got a couple beds down here for the kids, and you come upstairs, and this is where the owner of the bakery would live. The actual baker and his wife would live up here. And then we got up here a little storage area for all of the bakery goods to be stored. So coming down is his porch. Right out here is his porch. You got a place for the bread to rise out in the sunlight or out in the nice fresh morning air, and a little cage to keep all the birds away, because we don't want the birds pecking away at the bread. So that's just how they keep the birds away. Then down here we have a what is this called? An outhouse where they would do their poo thing. Little garden back here to keep the family going. And some firewood underneath, and a clothesline, of course, so they can wash their clothes down this little stream here. So I thought that was a neat little thing to add in. So this corner of the house looked really boring at one time, so that's why we added that tree. It really changes the whole idea of this side, and I just think that looks so nice compared to what we had before. It's just so bland, and then putting that tree there really makes a difference. Right here we have a food stand. This is where, there's just some fish, some potatoes, and whatever that is are being sold. And it's just like a really colorful food stand, and also some cheese and things. So again, like a concession stand. This is, people would be hungry. They come by and buy a little bit of food from there. We have a well here. I'll go ahead and show you down this really fast. This is actually a well down here, and we use this new calcite blocks that we have down here. And I put a dead body here, and just like, I really wanted to make it just like a really neat looking cave with the stalactites coming down from the ceiling. And then got some more water down here and things. Nothing really too fancy. Got some bats in here, and this actually leads out to the creek, but we're not going to go all the way out there. That takes a little bit of time. So we're going to go back up the well and showcase the butcher now. The butcher is a pretty important thing, I would say. So then there'd be rope attached to the end of that bucket, and then they would let that down. So right here is like a little playwright, a little place where they, like a little puppet show pretty much, where some guy would be kneeling down and be like using strings to play with the puppets and entertain a little That'd be really crappy to to stand in front of the crapper here. But anyways, yeah, there's a little play going on right there. And so that's that. This here is the Butcher. This is the Darkwing Dookie Butcher. Again, another one of my patrons. So thank you so much to Darkwing, or Dookie Darkwing is his actual name. But thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you. And yeah, so thank you so much. So this here is the Butcher. This is where they sell all the meats. This is where all the meats would be kind of stored in here. Got some jars and also be cut up in here. This is where the animals would actually be butchered. Fireplace for the Butcher, and then we go up. This is where the living space is. It would really stink to be living in the Butcher, you know, up here, but you know, it's just what it is. You kind of get used to it. A little porch out front to look over the happenings down below. So lots of neat stuff there. Go ahead and close the door. And of course the rafters up above, just lots of neat little things going on. And like a little loft here, so they can like walk up here and then get in, you know, kind of sit down and look out the window. So now we're gonna head back down, and this leads out to their backyard. As you can see, this is like a place where they could probably cut the heads of the chickens off. Got a little fence there to block the view, because when the animals don't want to, you know, see their friends getting their heads cut off. So the little fence to kind of block that. And then got some firewood and things of that sort there. Right here is the smokehouse. So this is where all the meats and things of that sort would be smoked. Also, maybe the bakery or some guy that has cheese wants their cheese smoked, so they bring it over here, because maybe this is the only smokehouse, so they would probably pay the butcher a certain amount of money to allow their cheese to get smoked in here. But anyways, anyway, that don't matter. Let's do that. There we go. All right, so that is the smokehouse, and then down below is the actual fire pit where it is, where all the smoke comes from. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea to add a smokehouse behind the Butcher. I forget, it wasn't actually my idea. It was somebody on the stream that suggested to put a smokehouse. The reason why there's no smoke coming out of the chimney is because the smoke would just kind of like stagnate inside of the actual smokehouse, and then they'd have like a way to open the chimney, and then all the smoke would go out, and that's how they would go in and collect all the meat. Right here is a chicken coop. I thought that was a really neat idea. We used the Tudor and such to make it a somewhat interesting design. Just looks like a little tiny house, but not too bad. And then this is all like a pigsty over here with a little place to eat, and we also used one of those barrels of food for like a feeding trough. I thought that was cool. Or not barrel, a trough of food. Like the turnips, I think that is. In here is where the pigs would be kept. And then up here is a little hayloft. If we can actually get there. Why can't we actually... Oh, I see why. It's because of that. But as you can see, there is a hayloft up there. It's not really too exciting. So we won't worry about that. Pitchfork to do all the hay and all that good stuff. Alright, so now we go out this door, which opens the wrong way. We'll have to fix that later. We got like a little shrine here, looking out against the lake. And that is how, that's how you see all the nice little beautification, all the birdies and neat little things there. And then this is where a knight would be encamped right here. As you can see, you come up this way, and there would be a knight just kind of chilling out here, because again, the tournament is going on, and so this is where the knight would be very happily camped, preparing to go and fight in the tournaments and fight for the princess and for the entertainment of the people that live here. So yeah, nice little camping fire, and just a nice pristine little spot to stay. A neat little thing over here is a little shrine that I wanted to build, like into the actual cliff itself underneath Lumiere. I thought that was a neat little idea, and I definitely am happy we did that there, because it's just like a neat little thing along the road here underneath the bridge. You're just like, it's kind of boring, just like greenery and such, and you're like, oh look, there's a shrine, cool. But yeah, then you come along here, there's like a little like the place between the castle and the road. Kind of finished that up with a little dead tree. And then, of course, we have like a little trickling stream in between the pond here, and it flows out through here and down to the creek below. So as you can see, that creek, or that stream, goes all the way down to the creek down there. So that's that. So that is pretty much an overview of what we have done in this episode. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, there is one more thing. We do have a little like a message board right here where things are going on, and help needed, massive griffin killed my children. So kind of like insinuating the Witcher environment where you know, Witcher type people take up assignments like that or take up contracts like that and then go out and kill the monsters. But I do want this atmosphere to be very just like pristine and beautiful. So we did just you know, just little things like that don't really bother me, but I don't really want to make it a grungy medieval environment. Not like, you know, falling apart and everything. I wanted to make it very just like a beautiful just environment going on. So if that makes any sense. A little place to cut wood back here for the inn. Also, here's a place for the innkeeper to wash clothes. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot to show you guys the kitchen of the inn. So this here is the inn's kitchen right in here. So you got the fireplace, little baker's oven right next to it. And then up here we got a nice little lamp, got the rafters and everything. Also a little loft to store more things up here. Thought that was a pretty cool idea to add in. And some spices and herbs and things going on right there. So I thought that was a pretty neat thing. And then it comes right out here to the, again, the bar area where they would serve the guests that would be staying here. So I think that is it. I'm trying to look over this build and make sure that there's no... Oh, there is one more thing. One more thing, guys. This is actually something that I'm really happy about right here. This is the wagon for the fortune teller. Again, festivities are going on, and so the fortune teller's like, maybe, you know, going to a you know, a wedding is a good thing, good place to make some money. So this is where the fortune teller comes. Got like some wishbones up here to tell the future, and then like a little place where like the, you know, the helper would sit out here and sort of like write down, you know, names and collect money and things. And then this is the pet crow out front, some food and things going on. And then leading up here, we got a little palantir ball, a little crystal ball where, you know, they would tell the future and everything. Just a really pretty interior that I really wanted to do a wagon like this. This was actually a suggestion in the stream to add in a fortune teller and a fortune teller's cart, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So that's what we did there. And then right down here, just to add a little bit more of a depth of immersion, we made like a little cave where maybe the the fortune teller can confide in some deity or something. There's kind of like a dark undertone to it, if you understand what I'm saying there, see what I'm saying there. But yeah, one way or another, I think that this turned out quite well. I'm pretty happy with the result. I really wanted a very beautiful kind of pristine environment, and I definitely think we have achieved that. I really like just the overall atmosphere of this hamlet down here, and I really think that it works out. Just so much greenery, so much color. It's just absolutely, like, it's bursting with color. And yeah. So if you guys liked this episode, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Don't forget to comment below, because I love to see your guys' comments. And next episode, we are going to be working on the tourney grounds over here. So don't go far, guys. We have a lot of exciting content coming up, because this is where the tourney grounds are going to be. This is going to just be an absolutely beautiful area. I can just imagine this right now, walking along this road, and this is just going to burst with color. I'm so excited. We're going to use the backstage is going to really block out the plots back here. We're also going to be extending it out to the edge of the plot there, so we got plenty of room for all that I have in mind. We're probably going to be doing some re-terraforming back here and just fixing it up, but then the windmill is going to go there. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this, guys. But anyways, one way or another, I hope to see you back next episode. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Till then, bye-bye.